Hello, everyone. My name is Crow, and this is Uncharted Expeditions. This is episode 15. So last time we set up a couple of these thermal machines. We also set up I believe, our crushing wheels. Um, and we discovered as well that the machine that we made to harvest oil, the fluid well extractor, was the wrong machine. I needed to create a pump jack. So um, I I crafted those ingredients here. And so all I really need is I need a pump jack hole, a pump jack head, two pump jack bearings, and a pump jack crank. And we can see here's the ponder that tells you exactly how this all works. You just need to super glue this all together, give it some rotational force, and then it'll start pumping. I did some testing in a creative world, and I discovered that you can actually pull out of the pump jack hole with basically any kind of pipe. And so I have some fluid ducts. I might actually make a couple more of these. Um, yeah, I should probably do that. And I made a bunch of fluid tanks as well. Um, I also had to create a multi-servo press because I needed I believe, a steel plate. And steel plates can only be created in the multi-servo press. They cannot be like, oh, apparently with frost steel plates as well. Interesting. Frost steel sheets. Interesting. Frost steel plates. Interesting. Yeah, see, this one has like a plate, and a sheet are the same as far as all these crafting things go, but there's only one steel plate. Um, no substitutions. So I had to make a multi-servo press, and I just threw it on top of my accumulator. And if you recall, our accumulator will automatically push power up to whatever's on top of it or below it. And so I just popped it on there. No need to mess around with wires or anything. Um, the steel, I have coke coming out of my pyrolyzer, and my pyrolyzer is actually stopped because I'm all backed up on creosote oil. I have a plan to use some of this oil, um, but we'll have to get there. I also moved over one of my arboreal extractors. I went looking for a rubberwood tree. It's just you can find them in flower forests, and so I went over, grabbed it, and I pulled out. Um, the way that the arboreal extractor works is it looks for 3 logs, 3 leaves, and then a thing of dirt. So as long as you can meet those requirements, it will produce, uh, in this case, latex or sap or resin or whatever it is supposed to produce. The thing you have to be worried about, though, is that these leaves, like, you can't harvest them with silk touch. On the right here, you can see on the right you can see that it says persistent equals false. So they have to be basically naturally generated leaves. Um, so the way that I um, grabbed those was using a capsule, one of these empty capsules. And so that will allow you to pull it out and then pop it back, no problem. So, okay, so our plan for today is to get some oil. I actually went over to the dino dimension, the primordial caves, and I went walking around with my where did we go? So I went walking around with my oil detector, and I tracked down a chunk with some oil in it, um, and I cleared out a space down at bedrock. So very similar to my ember spot over here. All right, so let's go. Okay. All right, so this is, remember, the primordial caves, and I set up a little warp pipe down here to take me down to bedrock. And I basically copied over that embers area. I just used the schematic can and just copied it over and set it up down here because the way that this is going to work is the pump jack hole needs to have a direct line down to bedrock. That's like the single requirement it needs to have. So let's go ahead and set up. Let's go ahead and set up this pump jack. And maybe I'll set it up here. I think that this is good enough. I might have to move. I have my goggles on, so you saw that little message saying no connection to bedrock, which has now gone away because this obviously has a connection to bedrock. So the way that this works is I have to. First of all, if you search for oil, I found lots of oil. Okay, so I need a pump jack head and a pump jack bearing, two of them, pump jack crank, a couple girders, a block of zinc to make it look pretty, and I have a water wheel to power it. And I have some metal scaffolding to make it look a little bit nicer as well. So if we look at the this, this is 2, 3, and then the head, and then 3, and then the tail, with a block in the middle. I think this will work. I've never tried to make it this small before, so. Let me throw a bearing on there. I think I can flip it around. Oh. Right, and this is gonna be really cramped. I think it will work though. I'm not really sure. And then, so the bearing needs to be on the back, and you have to right click it with the wrench in order to make it connect. And then I have to have the crank, and what does the crank look like? The water wheel. I mean, will this work? Yes, it will. Okay, and then I need the pump jack head. then there's some. And then last thing I need to do is I need to super glue this together. And then I think I just do this. Ah, it's working. Okay. Okay, I don't know if there's anything coming up out of here. I can't see anything. I really should have raised this up one. A little more room here. Okay, but first of all, let's see if this is working, right? Oh, apparently it won't connect to the top. That's okay. No, it's not pulling. Oh, you know what? It's supposed to... Let's throw this guy on here. I think this has to be... Let's make this one shorter. Ah, okay. So now because this is happening... Oh, and it has say how much oil. And all right, we got oil. Amazing. All right. Well, this is really good. I need to start processing this oil, and I'm going to be able to do that using a blaze burner. I also did made some straws. So these can be fluid blaze burners. And oh shoot, I forgot to let me claim this chunk. So this will go forever now. It's already made 300 millibuckets. Perfect. So I'm definitely going to need some more fluid ducts because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pumping some kind of fuel into all of these guys here. In order to heat them. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that with ethanol. This is slow, that's fine. I mean, it's not that slow, I already got 500 millibuckets. But I want to set up some ethanol production, so I'm going to need a bunch more fluid ducts because I got a bunch of stuff to pipe around. But let's get some ethanol started. So ethanol is going to be made by having a crop and some bone meal together into a basin. And there's no heating required, so it's kind of like the cocoa butter that I have going on upstairs. Okay, so the way that I'm going to create all this ethanol is I need to have potato production, And then I also need to have bone meal production. So potato production is relatively easy because I was able to loot a couple botany pots. Okay. So I had some botany pots because I can make the tier upgrades, the advanced hopper upgrades. I was able to turn these into hopper botany pots, which means they grow, whatever, and then they automatically input into the inventory below them. With a composter, that means it automatically outputs into a composter. Which means that this will create bone meal, and of course, a composter with a hopper under it will directly pull that bone meal out. And so now I have infinite but slow production of bone meal for this. And I can kickstart it a little bit. Over here, I'm going to have potatoes coming in. And this is going to spit potatoes down here. Let's see. So I'm going to need potatoes. Now, the problem with this is that the star potatoes from, what is this, Quality Crops, those cannot be used to input. Oh, shoot. Push to the right. So the potatoes from Quality Crops cannot be used to make the ethanol. So I have to use regular potatoes. Regular potatoes can be crafted, just crafted down normally, but you can automate them using a mechanical crafter from Create. So I'm just going to be basically outputting potatoes, the iron, gold, and diamond, always to the right. And it will craft it and then spit it right back in here. And then this is going to output into the basin over here. I have to figure this one out. Oops. Because I basically want to only send these potatoes to the right and then only send these potatoes to the left. I might need another hopper. Okay, so I got this set back up. So this is going to, once again, output all the potatoes to the right. It will automatically get pulled in. Put this farmland, put the potato in. And then this one right here is doing a hopper upgrade. It's going to match storage contents, and this is saved. So the only thing that can come in or go out, or actually the only thing that can come in, is regular potatoes, because that's the only thing in its memory. And then it will go in through here to the hopper, and then into here, the basin. Back here, I have the regular hopper set back up. Throw a composter on top. The botany pot. There we go. Okay, so now this should, we'll see. I don't think it requires heat, so this should just create automatically ethanol. Yes, perfect. So now ethanol is working. What I need to do is I need to take this ethanol and I need to pipe it into these guys to create a way for these guys to get fuel. It will heat these guys for 5 minutes. I think that will be enough. If it's not, I will have to maybe look at getting biodiesel, which would definitely be enough because it will get superheated. That's going to require a lot more infrastructure because the only way I can create it is by mixing it. I don't know. I think that's probably going to be okay. But we'll see. We will see. Okay, so what I'm going to need, though, in the meantime, is I'm going to need more tanks. I don't know if I have any more tanks. It's 12. Did I bring only 15 tanks? And then I also need to create... It's like a distillery. Yes. I need to create a distillation controller. That's going to need steel, a steel plate, tar, fluid pipes, and then one of these atmospheric gauges, which that's easy to do. That's all just like Ember stuff or Undergarden stuff. So that's pretty easy to do. So let me go make that. Well, I'm back and I made a couple I made a couple more things here. So the first thing is I made a fluid pipe. That way I can start stockpiling this ethanol. The potato is definitely going to be the faster of the two, I think. So I made a distillation controller. Oh. Apparently I need to make... Okay, I apparently need to make a bunch more of the distillation controllers. I didn't realize it was a 1 per. All right. So I took so I went and I crafted a bunch of these distillation controllers. It turns out I do need 1 for each of the tanks. And so I should be able to, yeah, so this quest is complete. I just need, there you go. So now this is a distillation chamber. I'm going to pump in crude oil into the bottom. And then I will get gasoline and diesel out at the top. Yeah, so this is pumping that in. This is going to go in there. Okay, so this can only hold 2 buckets. I wonder if I have any coal in here. I feel like I should have coal in here. I do. And I think I need to... Yeah, so it's working. And it's making diesel and gasoline. So now I need to create a spot for these to sit. And I think I discovered that I cannot have these in parallel, but that's okay because... So this guy is going to fill up, because this guy's the diesel on this level, so this is going to be diesel over here. And this will be the gasoline right here. diesel. And this is the gasoline. All right. Now the last thing to do is to hook these guys up here. Because this will, oops. So this will pull out of here and it'll put into here. I would have to put that one over here. So this will pull out, put into this front one and these two back ones. I want to maybe what I'll do here. Maybe that looks a little bit better. Is I'll have this guy on a redstone control. And that way I can, because I don't want this to be running and pumping in fluid if there's nothing in here. Because then it's just a waste. Okay, this. Okay, that's my. Oh man, that's a lot of fluid. And then the last thing that needs to happen is this guy needs to get a basin. And then he needs to, I think it's just, is lubricant. Lubricant. And then I think, oh, shoot. Gasoline turns into lubricant. So I had these guys the wrong way. All right, so then I can put a servo on that. Gasoline, perfect. Looks like garbage. Are there covers for this? Okay, last thing to do is I need another blaze burner. I got lots of lubricant. All right. So it looks like I just need to kind of let this sit. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. We created a bunch of self-sustaining apparatuses down here. We'll continue to collect more of the crude oil. And yeah, just next time we come back, we'll continue working through the pack. I think we might get into another one of the another different dimension next time, and we'll kind of just see how it goes. So thanks for watching. If you have any tips or tricks or anything, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see you later. Take care.